Hey Starlings, Vanessa Montgomery here from Astro All-Stars. Let's talk about an aspect that's perfecting tomorrow, which is Mercury retrograde at 23 Leo, trine, flowing aspect, to Chiron at 22 Aries. So Mercury retrograde, trine to Chiron. So, of course, the trines are always within the same element. So, Leo's a fire sign, and so is Chiron, and that's part of the flow. They already speak to each other, they've already got so much in common. It's just very flowing. So, Mercury is retrograde, and it retrograded back from early Virgo. So, this aspect has already been. This is the second run on the retrograde, and then when it goes direct, it's going to trine again. So, this is really positive. We've talked about T squares, grand crosses. Let's talk about a positive aspect. So, Mercury is communication. It's retrograde, so we're going back to our creative source, and I think confidence, reframing, and a joyful, playful approach to how you think or frame things, speech as well, creative ideas, back to your own ideas. Leo is really original. They are original. I find that Virgo will take Leo's original idea and perfect it and do it better than Leo. But it's going back to the source because Leo's ruled by the sun. So the source of all life, all creation. So it's such a powerhouse. So trying to Chiron is the wounded healer, currently in Aries for 8 years, although it's coming towards the final third at 22 Aries of that run. So Chiron, the wounded healer, trine Mercury. So this could be something about, again, a healing reframe of how you think about something, or look at how you're framing things, or the way you talk about things, or what you're looking at on your feed, what you're following, and go for a positive reframe, something that makes you feel good. Find the positive aspect of it. Just note maybe something that you think, or a turn of thought, or something that someone says to you, or a situation that actually feels quite healing. Sometimes someone can just say one thing, and that is the thing that just shifts something for you. That's this kind of vibe, or the potential of this kind of vibe. In Aries, Chiron in Aries, a lot of that has been about, it's wounding around taking action and assertiveness and being independent and, assertive. And we've seen a lot of women rise up through this and say, hang on, we're not taking that anymore. Being assertive and not letting people knock us back for it. I found this is a really interesting period for all of that. Anyway, so that's the Mercury retrograde. So we're going to come back by it. So it's going to come up again when it was originally trine. The first trine was around the 28th of June, and the next will be around the 3rd of September. So just go perhaps back to around the 28th of June and see what shift you had. This is really great when you do keep a basic diary of things when you do have shifts or thoughts like that, because you can look at the transits and go back to that, stitch it into, what's happening now. Even if it's on reflection, you might notice it more. It might help it be more conscious, and it's great for learning how to predict your own cycle, of course, because you've already being able to slot it in to see how these transits do actually evolve for you. And it could be external events, and it could be internal shifts, because the transits are like a cycle, and they reflect your own cycle of self-development and illumination, as well as, obstacles. But this is a trine. So what else is happening? So that Mercury is also sextile to Mars, which is conjunct Jupiter. So go factor. It's a real cheerleader vibe, this one. So perhaps hang out with a cheerleader and cheerlead each other on. It is square to Uranus. So this whole Mercury retrograde is a little bit Uranian squaring. It's quite a feature of it. So that can also be unpredictable. It can be things come out the wrong way. You get people maybe misinterpret also Mercury retrograde, that can be the case. It's a good time for picking up on things you've dropped, get back on the horse, get back onto it, go back, pick it up. So square to Uranus in Taurus, just wanting to do things really differently and radically, and it's a challenge. It's a challenge. Mercury square Uranus, things just kind of blurt out the wrong way. But it's also a challenge to you to change, again, reframe, change the way you're thinking or communicating something. It could even be the way you do your signature, although that I would think would be more with the Sun and maybe Venus. But yeah, so Mercury trine Chiron, nice. Why not go with that idea and consider, it even could be self-talk. Consider like how you pump yourself up. I did a little thing today, and it's funny, it's a bit of a trend where you get chat GPT to roast you. But what I instructed it to do was, yes, roast me, but give me backhanded compliments the whole time as well. So it's a bit of both, and I think that's really fun. And you could even get it just to, so what you do is you take a screenshot of your Instagram profile and some of the pictures. You can do 2 or 3 and upload them and say, comment on this, roast me over my profile with backhanded compliments or whatever. And it's very fun. So, but what you could do if you just want a cheerleader, I'm thinking with this aspect, is you could get ChatGPT to just give you a positive appraisal. It's all about the instructions you give it, and its sense of humor is really coming along, and it really loads it in. Maybe get it to give you some funny puns or something like that. So another thing with this aspect, something in my life I've noticed is when people try to dominate, it doesn't happen a lot, but it has happened when people try to dominate, and they'll start to say things that they say, oh, it's only a joke, and it's not a joke, and it's not very nice. And I'm quite happy just to receive nice things. Thank you. Constructive criticism is one thing, but this is something else. So I've always nipped it in the bud. Like once I realized, I nip it in the bud, and I just say, look, please don't speak to me like that. It actually makes me feel not great, and I don't think it's necessary. I'll always add in, because I don't speak to you like that because I value your friendship, and I want our friendship to be as good as it possibly can. So things like that. I know some people have that kind of relationship where it's sarcastic or they roast each other, but I find that I can only take a certain amount of that. You don't want to get into a habit where someone is always speaking to you like that. And if you don't want to speak to them like that, you don't want them to control the frame on the culture between you. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's some positive advice. I do hold back a bit from giving too much specific advice on these transits because everyone's chart is different, and it's landing in everyone's chart differently. That's why I do one-on-one sessions, astrology sessions, so we can actually talk about all of this. So you're welcome to book in at astroallstars.com for a session with me, or read my book Astro Power, A Simple Guide to Prediction and Destiny, so that you can learn more about the archetypes behind these signs. And it's really amusing as well. It's a really fun book with a little bit of fun history and poking a little bit of fun at it as well, a bit of a roast, but very solid astrology. And of course, I always do some highlights in my weekly horoscopes at Glamour, where it is a little bit prescriptive, but yes, as I said, I've been holding back. I might throw a few more things in here and there. I just know I hear other astrologers doing that and it's not landing. And if it's kind of negative and I'm not feeling that, I think I don't want to be primed for negativity. So I want to prime you for positivity while still giving like, oh, well, if this is happening, here's some good advice for that. But I don't want to assume you're having a negative or bad time. That's the thing. Do not want to prime you for negativity. Want to prime you for positivity, because at the end of the day, it's mind over matter as well. So this has been Vanessa Montgomery. Enjoy this beautiful healing transit and stay cosmic.